Welcome back, everybody, to another edition of Gladiator Wrestling News. Uh, you know how it's done. I've got a bunch of news articles pulled up. We're going to take a look at what's been going on in the wrestling world this week. We've had some craziness happening. Title changes that were not expected, some that were. Especially if you listen to the podcast this past Sunday, I told you exactly what was going to happen. But that's beside the point. Um, this is just a midweek break to catch up on some of the news, and then the full blown, all around news will happen on the podcast this Sunday, 7 p.m. Central Time. Gladiator Wrestling Podcast. If you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed and turn on those notification bells so you don't miss it. And before you get too far, go ahead and smash that like button for me. Uh, Without any further ado, let's go ahead and bring up the news and see what we got today. All right. So my first tab here, I found this is actually the last one I found. I thought I was done, but we've got who really benefited from Jey Uso Intercontinental Championship reign. So if this is exactly the one I was talking about, if you go back to the podcast from this past Sunday, sorry about that, and listen to it. I told you almost word for word how this match was going to go. So let's see. When Jey Uso defeated Braun Breaker for the Intercontinental Championship, it rubbed many a member of the WWE Universe the wrong way. And that's true. And the gladiators here at Gladiator Wrestling Podcast are among that group because this guy right here, Braun Breaker, had no business losing that title. But it was understandable why, because you cannot book Jey Uso up the ranks to win another title and then not let him win again. I think we went down the numbers, and it would have been the seventh time that he got all the way to a singles title and then lost. So, but let's read on here. Sure, the idea of the title change made some sense. WWE pulled the exact same card with Breaker in NXT, using Dolph Ziggler in the Uso spot, and Shawn Michaels did the exact same thing with Trick Williams and Ethan Page over the past few months. Still, when you look at Uso's title reign in full, sorry about that, holding the belt for 28 days with a single successful defense before dropping it back to Breaker, straight out of Vince McMahon's playbook. Okay, so let me give this article is by Clutch Points. I don't know how to say that name, but there's the author right there. So I'm not taking credit for anybody's articles, by the way. So for a month, WWE would hype up Uso, sell some Yeet theme merch. He sells tons of merch, and thank him for 15 years of service. And in return, he got to say he was a singles champion in WWE, the 91st performer to hold the Intercontinental title. Very interesting. And could then return to the Usos as the Bloodline storyline starts to heat up a bit more. And this is exactly why him winning didn't make sense, but him not winning didn't make sense. They booked themselves into a corner is what they did. So partially the fans' fault. Don't attack me for that. But for being behind Jey Uso so hard. I mean, he is over more than anybody else in the whole damn company, I think. So that's why they were forced to book him that way. But pandering to the fans is not always the right way to go. But indeed, they did book themselves into a corner where they had no choice. No decision was going to be a great decision because there was no way he was holding on to it for very long. Let's see. Does it make Uso look better that he couldn't win the Intercontinental title based on his own merits and instead had to be given a title reign with just a single defense? No, if anything, it makes him look worse because he couldn't rack up a few more wins to make things look legit before handing off the belt. Does it make Breaker look better? Again, no, as he too only had one successful title defense, and just when it looked like the second generation Steiner was going to establish himself as a Gunther-esque force worthy of a year-long title reign, his reign came to a crushing end. So really, what was the point of any of this? Because right now it feels like the goal was to make the 188th Intercontinental Championship reign, have the name Jey Uso next to it, and in the future, be it a year, 5 years, or 50 yards in the future, fans will look back at the title's lineage and see his name in the list. Likely when his grandchildren are running the show under the Bloodline moniker alongside AI hologram of Paul Heyman. I'd watch the shit out of that. Uh, right now, that might feel incredibly cynical, but hey, if Paul Levesque wants to play the long game, he will ultimately be proven right in the end. Jey Uso was already hyping up an Usos reunion before Raw. In the lead up to the IC title loss to Breaker, Uso sat down for an interview with Metro UK, where, for better or worse, he let it slip that he was interested in reuniting the Usos for brand new tag team matches against Motor City Machine Guns and the Lucha Brothers. Oh, those matches are going to be amazing. Uh, yeah. So I'm not gonna fiddle with going all the rest of the way down. But it's now that that's been corrected, and Braun Breaker can go on a rampage and absolutely dominate as Intercontinental Champion, and Jay can eventually team up with Jimmy and Roman. He's not going to go right back and team up. I mean, he's already made it clear, no yeet, but it's coming. There's no way we're not going to see the Usos back in action. There's too much great talent coming in for them to have some amazing matches with, and they just are so much better as a team. As great as Jay is, him and the Usos are just a phenomenal team. So a lot of people I know are sick of the Bloodline storyline. I think it's kind of impressive the fact that they've ran it for so long, and every time it starts to get dull, they have breathed new life into it. Now, you don't have to agree with me on that. That's how it's felt with that. I'm enjoying it. There's been parts of it, like I said, that were not as enjoyable. So let's move on. Um, Nobody needs that. Oh, this one. So this was just something interesting. It's not really wrestling, but it is TKO. So TKO has added three more companies under their belt. They got the PBR, Professional Bull Riders, now. And these two, luckily, it tells me what these are: On Location and IMG. I wasn't sure what those are. They now own On Location, which is a leading provider of premium experiences for fans attending more than 1,200 sporting events, including the Super Bowl, Ryder Cup, NCAA Final Four, FIFA World Cup 26, and the 2026 and 2028 Olympics and Paralympic Games. In addition to year-round live events organized by UFC and WWE, On Location President Paul Kane will continue to lead the organization. So that's the big event things that happen outside those huge sporting events. So that's cool. That TKO owns that. I guess that's cool. This company is going to be a powerhouse company. And then IMGB is one of the world's largest global distributors and producers of sports content, packages, and sales media rights and brand partnerships, and provides industry leading strategic consultancy, digital services, and event management for more than 200 rights holders. Uh, anyway, I just thought that's an SB Nation article, by the way. Just thought, it's TKO. Let's talk about it real fast. We can move right past it though. This is this is not wrestling. This Ignore that. Y'all don't need to see that. That's Fat Boy looking at Taco Bell news. Moving on. This one I was curious. I haven't read through it yet. The backstage report on Chris Jericho's Ring of Honor. What in the hell? Okay. Sorry about that. I hope I didn't black out you guys, but all my screens blacked out on me. Backstage report on Chris Jericho's Ring of Honor title win on AEW Dynamite. This makes no sense. Let's see what if they can make sense of it for us. Let's see. Chris Jericho captured the Ring of Honor World Championship for the second time during last night's Dynamite, defeating Mark Briscoe in a ladder match with some help from the Learning Tree. Discussing the match on Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer offered a possible explanation for Jericho's title victory. Now, I have a theory on why they would take it off of Mark, but I'm going to see if this is Uncle Dave agrees here. I think that if they are working on a Ring of Honor television deal, then it probably is beneficial for them to be champion to try and close that deal. Oh, okay, okay. Tony Khan is in the process of trying to secure a TV deal for the brand. Okay, now wait a second, guys. The title of this article is okay. This is by Wrestling Inc. But the title of this article don't hold a candle to what's really going on here. So Tony Khan is in the process of trying to secure a TV deal for Ring of Honor. I've been begging for this since he bought that company. Myself and Chris both having access, having to pay for the Honor Club, and I get it's not that much, but there's too many subscription services that we already need to watch wrestling. Paying for Honor Club is just not going to work. But getting them on TV, that's amazing. So having a big name like Jericho as the Ring of Honor champion, absolutely, I can see that as being a way to help get that TV deal confirmed. So that is very interesting. It's possible that Khan would run another rematch between Jericho and Briscoe and Ring of Honor Final Battle later this year, which would allow Briscoe to compete in the Continental Classic and take some losses before winning the title back from Jericho. Okay, so they're going to do the Continental Classic again. Ugh. We're not going to get started on that. This is supposed to be like a 20-minute show. This is Jericho's second time as champion. Okay, so I was wondering if they took that title off of Briscoe in order for him to help more with the whole Mox taking over everything angle that they're running. He would be a good mix to help fight Mox and crew. So he's a strong baby face. So that's what I was thinking. But this is much more interesting, and hopefully Chris Jericho will spend more time on Ring of Honor and kind of get the AEW fans a break. I know that that's the same guys basically, but if we're not got Chris Jericho in this learning tree crap on TV as much, because this gimmick is his worst. I'm just going to say it. All right, moving on. We're going to close up, as you can see over here. I got the rumors pulled up. That's one of my favorite segments to close out the show on. So, all right, so we've got the Adam Cole in-ring return, tag team title match added to AEW Friday night. So I just wanted to see real quick what kind of matches we're looking at. So obviously we're getting Adam Cole versus Buddy Matthews. That is going to be a hell of a test for Adam Cole in his return match. So very interesting. Private Party, Daniel Garcia defeated the. Okay, so and then the other match that was made. Oh, I am so sorry about all the coughing. I am trying to recover from an upper respiratory infection, and this damn cough does not want to go away. So we're gonna see Private Party against the Bucks again for the titles, and if Private Party loses, they have to split up forever. Now I'm gonna go ahead and tell you how I think this is gonna go. I do think Private Party are going to win. And I simply think the next thing that happens is Private Party is going to get demolished and lose those titles to someone on Mox's crew, because I've got a feeling that is the kind of the next thing on the list for Mox and them is they've got trios, they've got the heavyweight. It's time to just gather up the titles because they're taking over. So that's what I think. Let me know in the comments down below if you agree or disagree. Let's see what else we got. We're gonna have Swerve Strickland versus Shelton Benjamin. Oh my God, That's going to be nuts. I can't wait for that. Shelton Benjamin looked so good against Leo Rush, and I have to now I'm not a performer, so I don't know, but when you're going up against somebody the size of Leo Rush, you really have to change your style because when you're going that much smaller than most wrestlers, it seems like you're going to have to adapt to a different style in order to accommodate for that. Otherwise, it just looks like a complete mauling, and they did a great job of doing that. Shelton Benjamin's a phenomenal wrestler. It was one of the best and most underrated of all time. So here's our list so far. We're getting Statlander versus Camille, Swerve versus Shelton Benjamin, tag team championships on the line, Bucks Private Party, and then Adam Cole versus Buddy Matthews. So the way the Adam Cole Buddy Matthews, the way this stuff is going to go is whoever gets 3 wins first, either Adam Cole or uh, Roderick Strong, whichever one gets 3 wins first or something like that, gets to fight MJF. So again, MJF doing this stuff where you got to jump through hoops to have a match with him. So that's a typical MJF thing, and the fact that they ran with it and done it multiple times is pretty funny. But let's move on. Let's check out the rumor roundup. This article, by the way, was F4W Online. Just trying to give credit. And then we have the SB Nation rumor roundup. This headline right here has already got me wanting to puke. So no offense if you're a fan, but no, just no. All right, so rumors of the day. And again, you can read this right here on their page, but these are rumors. So SB Nation is not saying this stuff is true or happening, and neither am I. I'm just reading this. Let's see what they have dug up this time, though. During their latest Backstage Pass podcast with Bill after WrestleVotes was asked to comment on speculation that Goldberg could interfere with the Cody Rhodes Gunther match at Crown Jewel. Votes said that WWE does have future plans for Goldberg, but they don't know for sure what those plans are. Oh. Okay. I'm not getting into this right now, but this is going to be a topic Sunday during the podcast. So make sure you tune in Sunday, 7 p.m. Central. I'm already sick to my stomach reading that. On the same pod, Votes said they don't think WWE currently has any plans to split up A-Town Down Under. They're going to remain together until there's something substantial for either one of them. Damn, that's kind of... So they just look at both of them and they're like, we don't really have anything for you, so y'all just keep being a team until we find something. That's kind of... they're decent talents. I mean, they're pretty good. Okay, so Brian Alvarez. Okay, a source told Wrestling Observer Live's Brian Alvarez that Io Sky and Kairi Sane didn't have a problem with Carlito's controversial ad lib from Raw, and saw it as him playing an idiot, and that was that. Alvarez added that doesn't necessarily mean Carlito won't be punished, and I'm sure he'll catch some heat for that. I know he's catching a lot of heat. I'm sure there will be a punishment, but I mean. He did not say that in trying to mean it derogatory. It was absolutely to be a comedic idiotic gimmick. Not well received, so bad call on that one. But in my opinion, I don't feel like it's as offensive as it's been made out to be. But because it is, there definitely needs to be, we'll probably see him in a squash match with somebody, something like that. Just watch, it'll happen. All right, so this let me tell you right now, this pissed me off. NXT officials were reportedly very upset that Tuesday's episode ended before Zaria's debut in several I hope I'm saying her name right. In several markets per 5. WWE knew they had a hard out at 10 p.m., but not that several affiliates were operating on a 20-second delay, which led to the show being cut off in those coverage areas. One Fightful source said everyone who runs or has a say in the show was pissed. I will promise you right now, I sat there in my chair cussing at the TV. I was so mad. Um, Moving down, Giovanni Vinci came up on Fightful Select Q&A show. Sean Ross Sapp and Vinci said Vinci isn't in the doghouse, but he hasn't heard of any major plans for the former Imperium member. Sapp added that WWE didn't have significant plans for him anyways. So if there was no plans, I don't know why they split him up. Unless there's something I missed and there was actually some heat between him and Gunther or him and Ludwig. I don't know why they would split it up. I thought Imperium was an amazing team. They're not running. They're not doing anything with. I just said his name. Ludwig. They're not doing anything with him. So why break up the team? This was a useless split up, and then they never really, there was never really a him come back and they fight about Ludwig turning on him because they sent him to SmackDown. So the Imperium should have never been broken up. They could have kept doing what they were doing and it worked fine. I don't know what was going on there. Last but not least, after Hologram, aka Aramis, announced he'd be missing an upcoming booking in Mexico due to an unspecified injury that will keep him out of action for a few weeks, Lucha Blog posted that Hologram was hurt near the end of his match with Mordos at Wrestle Dream and may not be back until after Full Gear. Very interesting. So, pretty cool. Let me click the refresh button real quick and see if any more news has popped up. All right. Now we don't need to know her top 5 fantasy matches. Nope. Home of WrestleMania 41. Not important. How he preserves and perseveres. I read that wrong. Okay. No. All right. So no other breaking news has popped up while we were on here. So go ahead and bring this to an end. I clicked the wrong thing. There we go. That's going to do it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you didn't earlier, go ahead and smash that like button. Let me know in the comments down below if you heard any other news or big rumors that you think we need to talk about this Sunday on the podcast. Make sure you're subscribed. Turn on those notification bells. I'm making the camera shake. So you don't miss any of the other videos and the podcast every Sunday, 7 p.m. Central, right here on YouTube. Once again, thank you so much for watching. Gladiator out.